Now day 3 of the lesson, of the mixing discussion. I know it's a bit long today, but consider it for 2 times because I'll be away next week. So let's say that's for 2 times. So we don't like looking at the sad side of life, we like to look at the bright side of life, but we can't just get how sorrows drown even in the magical lake. It's there, and if you are shamanic, if you're infinite, then you have to face your infinite sorrow. How can you be infinite if you're not looking at some aspects? So if you want to be infinite, then you have to look not only at the infinite joy and happiness and love which are there, but at the other side too. You can't be half infinite, say. It's all or nothing. Okay, day 3. Draping my face across the page of Baikal's wordlessness, I take the bait.
Well, there was a book cover in
at the beginning.
In the beginning, in part 1, and there's a page that is here in line 2 of this stanza in part 3. Usually when you think of a book, you think of, well, you might think of pictures. That's probably where book covers come handy. They might often contain pictures, whereas the rest of the book might have pictures in it, might have texts in it, and these texts are made up of words.
Yes.
So here there's the page, but it seems the page of Baikal's wordlessness, and somehow my face and Baikal's wordlessness become interconnected.
Yeah. It's the same as I sign my name on the cover page of Baikal, my name on the cover page. Again, if your name is on the cover page of the book, then you are an author or an editor.
Yes.
Or you are the story. You're the hero of the story. Either way, you're important to that book. You don't have just random names on covers, usually. Yeah, and we have connection between world. Baikal won't say how the world goes round, and between worlds, waves, words. Here again, Baikal, like a poem, a bird flying over a poem, scratching around for words. So it's all flowing one shape to another. Baikal as lake, to Baikal as spirit, Baikal as poem. Again, not fixed. And across, we are back to the beginning. Across and the page. Wordlessness. So it's a wordless poem. Can a poem be wordless? Maybe if you're...
Well, I think it can. If you are, yes. If you are a musician, then you might compose a poem which is wordless. If you are a poet, you might compose a poem which doesn't consist of words, which consists, let's say, of syllables.
Or
So
maybe
it is-
you can't, again, you can't language it. You can't bring it into the word, into languageable side. So whatever words you use, they're finite. And what you're talking about, what you want to talk about, want to say with the wind, what you want to say is infinite. So you can't really talk about infinite using finite words. So it's wordless. So we have words like skyfulness, needless, and now we have wordlessness. And again, it's a strange poem, a poem which is not a poem which is a real poem, the most real poem of all, perhaps. Don't write a poem, be a poem, so they say. And again, my face and Baikal's page, again, close relationship. I take the bait. I'm the bird, I'm the fish. I take the bait. I agree, I go into it, I submit. I know what I'm doing. A penny for your thoughts. A gap big enough to hold abysmal screams and fathomless fears. Who's you? Who's talking?
Well, we mentioned wordlessness. Usually, as we think, we shape our thoughts in words, and they say that most of our thinking is processed as a language of some sort.
Well, on the second stage, the first stage is before it reaches the, again, languageable area in the brain. So what thoughts you think you're thinking them the second time. First, you're just knowing, conceiving, and the second step is your brain turns it into what you can perceive consciously. So all the reality you perceive goes through that, the whole reality, literally. So you're like living in the past. Every second you leave a fraction of a second back in time, that fraction of a second which your brain takes to translate it for you. But yeah. So penny for your thoughts. Penny, maybe like a pen, again, writing for your thoughts. Is it a lake asking him about his thoughts? Is it him asking us? Is it the lake asking us? Can the lake talk to us, or can the lake just talk to him and him talking to us? Ah, interesting. The lake talks to us when we take the position of I. So how do you take it? A penny for your thoughts. How do you get into it? A gap big enough to hold abysmal screams and fathomless fears. So again we come back to, if I drown all sorrow in the deepest hollow, and back to Baikal holds the memories of human race. Yeah, so we connect the parts, the days, sides. So if at the beginning we were talking about memories, and memories can be good, can be happy, can be unhappy. Again, what you make of them. Then we talk about specifically sorrow, which you want to put into the lake, and concern and thought. And now, it's not just sorrow. Oh, you think sorrow was bad? No. Deepest hollow becomes a gap big enough. Because concern thought is not enough, but the gap is big enough. Again, a break, a gap, emptiness, hollow. To hold, and Baikal holds the memory, abysmal screams and fathomless fears. So
screams from below.
yeah. Again, we talk about hollow and deep, something deep. What are they? What are these abysmal screams?
Screams from the bottom of the sea.
At the bottom of the heart. Again,
Yeah, from the bottom of the heart.
Again, something we would like to drown, to bury, dip, and never to look at it again. But it's there and it's screaming. It's screaming. And again, screams are a kind of sounds, song, drumming, wind, now screaming. It holds abysmal screams, but so what? They're there, they're not disappearing anywhere, not going anywhere. We're talking about abyss and fathomless fears, again about something really deep. Fathomless, again, originally is connected to, to water. And again we go in there and, Baikal, nice, lovely, beautiful. But you look into it and it has all, it's reflecting, it has all the universe, including screams and fears. It's all a part of the deal. I take the bait, I know it's there. I know it's the bait. I'm not stupid. Again, do we like to go into abysmal screams and fathomless fears?
Well, usually we avoid it, but then again we wanted to get into the lake with all the memories it contains, and that is impossible without these screams, these fears. So it's inevitable.
Yeah. Holding, not letting them out, might be.
Yeah.
Again, something we cannot fathom, something we can't understand. So, fathomless, not just very deep, but also something we too deep for us to understand. And again, we talk about brokenness. Despite the light, despite reflective sight, Baikal's darkness penetrates my mind and interplays. So again, negation despite.
Yeah. And usually we would expect something like the night, the darkness. Despite the darkness, I can see, my mind can penetrate something.
Yeah.
Yeah. But here, the relationship is reversed. Despite the light, despite the reflective sight, Baikal's darkness penetrates. So rather than penetrating the darkness, we let the darkness penetrate the light.
Oh, we need that sometimes.
Yeah, and probably it's reflected light.
Well, how else can it be? The light, the lake looks bright if it reflects a bright sky, but it's only the surface which is light. You go into deep waters, dark waters, there's no light going there. It's reflective, so on one hand it's on surface, reflective side, at the same time we're looking at ourselves, because it's a giant mirror, huge mirror.
Yeah.
And we have the light, but we have the darkness too, all in the same stanza. Baikal's darkness. So she's a dark mistress. She helps us to go to the dark side, where we don't want to go. We want to drown our sorrows and to forget about them. But she says, no, I'll take you there. Whether you like it or not, if you come to me, it's a part of the, maybe not deal, but a game. It's a part of what we are doing. And she's strong. Baikal is strong. It can penetrate your mind. Again, do we like our mind being penetrated?
Usually not.
How do we feel about it?
People feel bad about it.
How bad?
Well, sometimes really bad. I don't really think there's somebody who wants someone to read his mind. But penetrating mind might also mean that you are playing games with somebody else's mind. That you instill certain notions that were not there before you penetrated.
Yeah, so we hold our mind as a kind of a fortress.
Yes.
We believe that we can find shelter in our mind, that's who we are, that's where we are, that's how we are, that's all that defines us. And it does define, like I'm fine, define us. So if someone penetrates the mind, it's like a very horrible intrusion from the mind's point of view, obviously, because it's the mind's point of view. But again, we come to Baikal knowingly, we trust Baikal. I take the bait, I agree to it. We don't like darkness, we don't like our mind being penetrated, but that is what has to happen. The darkness has to penetrate my mind to release, to heal whatever is screaming there. And interplays. What's interplays?
They do interplay the darkness and the light. Somebody, well, Baikal's mind, my mind, play together.
Yeah, so they're playing. It's again like a game. Playing, playful. Inter, again, like a medium, a bridge, connection. Restoring the connection, maybe. Interplays. Okay, failing to see, failing to breathe, eternity. My very own Baikal beauty. Message inaudible. Oh. So we had, I failed to see the purpose of me being me. So failing to see, on one hand, failing to see the purpose of me being me. Again, just failing to see. So how do you feel if you're failing to see and failing to breathe? Is it a happy experience? No. So again, if we look at it, on one hand it's scary, it's UK, it's horrible, darkness penetrating your mind and you can't see, you can't breathe. But if you come into it knowingly, you know it's not evil, it's done to help you, and then you can go through it happily. Failing to see, failing to breathe eternity, again failing, what a happy word, failing. The night is falling and I'm failing, falling, failing, dying, breathe eternity. So again we talk about breath, which is the same as wind, spirit, song, spell, wave. My very own Baikal beauty. Oh, what is it? Baikal responding to him. Oh, my own. Like my love, my own, my dear.
Yeah, or someone who, again, getting back to our previous discussion, someone I own, I think I own, I think I possess Baikal. I think I know everything about Baikal.
Mm-hmm.
I think I have penetrated it. But this is absolutely not true.
Mm-hmm. Maybe. Or maybe my own Baikal beauty is a Baikal beauty in me. That side of Baikal beauty which only I can see, because everybody sees it a bit differently. And you only get there when you're dying, when you're failing, when you're at the bottom. You cross the line and then you see beauty. And then you do cross to the unlanguageable, wordlessness. And here we literally have wordlessness, have just space. And a note that the message is inaudible. It's the moment of unlanguageable, which you can only feel, only connect to it. You can't put it into words, because words are made to work with finity, not infinity. And all you can say is, oh. All you can mark here is, oh. And what is oh? It's how you read it. It's zero. O is zero, 0 point. And again, the same is my very own Baikal beauty. Every person will read this O a bit differently. And that's what you're supposed to do. You go through the poem and you come to this point and you read your O. And you mark it and you trace it, you follow it into your heart and see what happens there, which way it leads you. So he's failing, he's at the bottom, there's nothing else for him. He's more or less dying, just dying, crossing the line. Then he gets into Baikal beauty. And so now we have Baikal sits astride my heart, a tart legs open wide lasciviously, angel wings beat my brow, bleu. So he crosses the line, he goes through screams, through fear, through darkness, through death to the other side. Again, it doesn't have to be literal death, but what feels like death to him. And there he finds beauty and Baikal waiting for him, sitting astride my heart. We had heart before, win your heart's gaze. So now they're reunited on Baikal's side. And again you think, oh, she's amazing, she's so cool, she's a queen. No, she's a tart legs open wide lasciviously. Again, like, oh, maybe it's not very respectable to say so about the goddess of the lake. Oh, you'd be surprised. Angel wings beat my brow blue. So again we have I jump from a tart to an angel. Because she is infinite. If she is infinite, then she is all. She is a tart and she is an angel. She is all extremes at the same time. She's infinite. Angel wings beat my brow blue. And again, it's kind of funny. On one hand, you have angel wings, but they're beating my brow. Again, like, wake up, till you're blue. Or it's angel wings beating my brow, like I drum my fingers to send a message. So angel wings are beating my brow, my head, again to send the message to my, maybe not mind, brow. Blue as in blue Baikal, 11 in day 1. Drumming my fingers on the edge of eternity, reaching into the depths of blue, I hear you back. And here, angel wings beat my brow blue. So again, we have the connection. So he has an interesting experience here. Your comments?
Yeah, maybe blue, like feeling blue.
Why would he be feeling blue? He has his Baikal welcoming him.
And yet he might sense that something is wrong.
Is that?
Something that's, or there's something good, there's something angel-like, there's something which reminds of a tart, and they are sort of mixed together into a single experience.
Yeah, so he crosses the line. He goes to the other side, which is infinite. So it's a bit confusing. And again, how do you put it into words? How can you? You can't, because the tart is art. Has art in it. And angel is almost like anger. It all turns and twists and changes and flows. So the images are a bit confused or confusing, precisely because you can't really describe it. It's a message inaudible. Tossed into nullity, Queen Bee reverses me umbilically out of lifelong woe. Oh, that's something happy.
Well, this looks much happier.
So he gets there to the the null, the 0 point, and Queen Bee. That's funny. Is it respectful?
Queen Bee? I don't know.
If you call somebody Queen Bee, how do you feel about them? Is it an official title? Hello, Queen Bee.
Well, not really.
So on one hand, it can be, again, personal, when you like somebody and you're familiar, like people say Lady D, like Diana. You say Queen Bee, Lady D. But again, it's not like, oh, the great big Queen, Her Majesty of cosmic waters, a Lady Baikal. You can't really be too serious about a Baikal if you just saw her as a tart legs open wide. Well, she's the queen. So she's a third, she's an angel, she's a queen, she's infinite, she's all. Queen bee. And again, be like being. Reverses me umbilically out of lifelong woe. So he crosses again the border. He gets to see her, and she accepts him, and she helps him reverse again, verse, poem, verse, reverse, go back into the poem. All his sorrows and screams and fears, she reverses it out of lifelong woe. It might not be one life, because it's, as we said, it's the memories of the whole human race, and we all hold memories of the whole human race, whether we like it or not. Yeah, genetic memories, whatever they're called.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's all true, because I know many examples when it was working. People don't even know why they feel like that or do this, do that. Then they find out that that's connected with their ancestors. Interesting, really interesting, because blood calls. We do have it in our blood. And she can reverse it. She can reverse it. Anger stirs the surface one last time, cutting deep, slashing, tearing, splicing, line on line, frown on frown. So we have sorrow, fear, we have anger now, but he says stirs the surface one last time. Again, surface can be his surface or Baikal surface. But he says that's just one last time, no more. Cutting deep. So what can cut you deep? It can be your anger. You can use anger to get to hidden places. And again, cutting deep. Again, talking about deepness. Before it was... again, we don't know if it's a Baikal or him. Oh, they're the same, deep. Slashing, tearing, splicing, a bit of anger.
Yeah, but also a bit of joy.
Mm-hmm.
A slash of water, splice of water.
Mm-hmm.
You can easily imagine.
Tears.
Yeah.
Happy tears, tearing, splicing. Mm-hmm. A line on line, frown on frown. So again, we mix it with poetry and surface and face, always mix it. Stepping out, I dance across the lake, feel me go, feel the fallacies of things I think I know.
So now our hero is stepping out, so he is no longer inside. He's sort of on the surface, or so it seems. I dance
across the lake.
Across the lake. Feel me go. Is it an order? Is it how
No, it's
I
an invitation.
feel?
It's an invitation.
It's an
Feel me
invitation.
go.
Feel me go.
Yeah, because finally he's complete. He's been there and now he's back. He's healed. He's happy. He's dancing. He's free, and there's a lot of energy which is now free, which was suppressed before, because he had to use it to keep the fears and screams in the gap, in the abyss. Yeah, now he doesn't have to do it. Now he can use this energy to dance on water, dance on the lake. And again, dancing is a kind of drumming. Feel me go, feel the fallacies of things I think I know. So he invites us to join him in his freedom. Feel the fallacies of things I think I know. Comments?
The fallacies are usually we do think that something is true, and it might be fallacy, and probably here it's not the matter of thinking, the matter of intellect, but rather the matter of feeling, where you feel that something you are sure about is not quite true, that it is a fallacy, and maybe these were your old perception of how reality functions, and now it's been questioned by your experience, and that represents a sort of a fallacy for you.
Or maybe thinking, knowing. It all belongs to a limited, framed, wordful reality. It's all fallacy. So you have things, you think. Thinking is like turning the wave into particle, making it specific and limited by thinking. Again, knowing. How do you know anything? Again, you put infinity into a little frame through which you can see it, and you say, "Oh, I know it." What do you mean when you say "I know it"? Yeah, so think, know. They all belong to the framed, limited, labeled reality. And I go, I step out. I don't speak, I dance. My poem is a dance across the lake. I guess that. And now he's dancing, not just talking, singing. Green the glass of Borta Bay, brimming story full. Elves, fairies of Baikal sing well a day. So we had blue, now we have green. Again, we have reflection, we have mirror, we have glass. Green the glass of Borta Bay. Maybe he's just back into the world and it's colorful.
Yeah, he's happy to be back. And he seems to be happy because the elves and the fairies of Baikal are singing.
But they're singing well a day. What's well a day? I don't know. Well a day is when you're sorry. Well away, it's like whoa, low, whoa. Yeah. Grief, look, grief, whoa, oh, low, whoa. So it became well away, and well away sounded a bit strange, so people started saying well a day, and some say well a daisy day. But well a daisy is the same well a day, well a way, well low, way, whoa, low, whoa. So it's when you're sad about something. Woe me, woe is me. So the story is brimming full. We're close to the completion, elves, fairies of Baikal. So we had gods of Baikal dallying with our destiny, which is kind of serious, sort of serious. But now they become elves and fairies, which is much lighter. Could be lighter or could be just as serious, because there are different kinds of elves and fairies. There are nice elves and fairies, and there are original elves and fairies who are hostile. But these seem to be nice because they're singing. Well, fairies and elves do sing. It's not always good for you, but again, it's still magical. Elves, fairies, again, male, female, elves, fairies. Oh, Baikal, sing well a day. And like you noticed, it's deceiving. It looks like it's good, well a day, but really they're sad. Maybe they're just sad because it's the end of story and he's about to go somewhere else. Oh, the story is full. There's little else left to do here. And we know because we can see that each part is 12 parts, and that's part 9 of the third day. So we know it's about to finish. So he's back on the shore, back on the ground. Okay. Baikal bleeds across the snow, seal clubbed for pelt, broken thread. Things come and go, humankind. That's nice, interesting.
Well, Baikal leads. Usually that is not very nice.
Yeah, it isn't nice. Again, he's back, but it doesn't mean the world is ideal. It's still infinite with the good and bad in it. So Baikal bleeds. Baikal has blood, not just water, real blood, across the snow. Again, we have the word across. Again, across the lake. I dance across the lake. Bleeds across the snow. So suddenly it's winter time. And of course, if you imagine it, it's a very bright image. Bright
Yes.
red blood on white snow.
Snow.
And why? Seal clubbed for pelt. Like really nasty. Barbaric. A baby killed just for the pelt, for the coat. In a horrible way, clubbed. Beaten to death as not to spoil the coat. And the seals are magical. Seals are selkie fairies who turn into can be women or can be seals in like Irish, Scottish mythology. So if a seal is clubbed for pelt, it's like people kill fairies. Again, doing something horrible. Broken thread. Because we had in 6, the Queen Bee reverses me umbilically again, like related to navel cord. So now the thread is broken. But if you are coming out of after Dancing with Infinity and you see it, then you see more than just a seal clubbed for pelt. You know it's horrible, but then what you say? Things come and go. Humankind. Again, humankind. What's humankind? How can you, humankind, do that? How can you call yourself human if you club seals for the cold? How can you be so horrible? But at the same time, things come and go. Humankind is not exception. You can be as horrible as you wish. You'll disappear in the end. makes no difference really. Baikal bleeds across the snow, seal clapped for pelt, broken thread. Things come and go, because it's things. Things, humankind.
So,
Mm-hmm.
so it's not just we pity that we are part of humankind, that it is human to kill.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems it's just saying, well, there are good things in life, there are bad things in life.
Well,
Is
there's
that the
aggression
case?
in everyone. If humankind can do it, then I'm a part of it. Because Baikal holds all humankind, all memories, so do I.
Mm-hmm.
And if somebody can do it, then in theory I can do it too. Then I know I have fathomless fears and abysmal screams, and I do have this kind of, how do you call it? Heartlessness.
Okay.
It's not even aggression, because they don't kill seals because they're angry, or they just do it for money, or they don't care. So I have it in me too, and I can see it, because Baikal is a mirror. And if that is what Baikal shows me, that's what I see, that's me as well. Else fairies of Baikal sing, well a day. Humankind. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mountains rim my drum, Baikal's skin drawn tight, flex in my utter resolve. I crawl foot the tail and beat sinewy time.
Mountains reappear.
Mm-hmm.
We had mountains before.
Mm-hmm. We had a deep Baikal, so deep down becomes a high up, the same thing.
Yeah. And we had the drum before.
We had it
And
again
now,
and again. Mm-hmm.
Yes, we had it again and again, and now we can see it's so huge that it is rimmed by
Mm-hmm.
the
Mm-hmm.
mountains.
So Baikal is his drum.
Yes, Baikal is his drum because Baikal's skin, and again, it's sort of like human flesh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it's like a skin of
Same,
drum
yeah.
at the same time,
But it's like a skin on the drum.
which is on mountains,
Yeah, which is on mountains.
because he can drum his fingers on that drum of Baikal. Mm-hmm. And again, yeah, like human with skin and blood, Baikal bleeds, and with skin, Baikal's skin. And again, drawn tight, kind of funny, drawn down. Flex in my utter resolve, I crawl the tail and beat sinewy time.
Yeah.
So now we have more birds. We have slap its tail, now I crawl foot the tail. And again, beating, drumming, time. I clap in my hands, I snap time in two, syncopating time and space in the number 2 of day 1. Writing lines of intent. So we come back to the beginning again. And I beat sinewy time. Interesting, because sinewy, because the drum has skin. Beat sinewy time, time as in age and passage of time, sinewy time like god of time, and sinewy time, time as in music, beating time. Yeah, all that syncopating. Why syncopating? Do you know syncopating?
Well, you just produced it.
It was back in the beginning, the second stanza of part 1.
Yes.
Syncopating is what you do to make music more alive and less rigid. So instead of going, what you do is,
Yeah.
so you make it more human, more alive, more interesting. So he's a bird, he's a fish, he's big, he's small. The world of things, stars and night, Baikal's fish eye, rings them round, girl, widow, bride. The world of things, thinkable, stars and night, like the other side, infinite.
Yes.
Baikal's fish eye. Back to fish. Back to the Omu rising.
Yeah.
So fish eye as in photography, fish eye as an eye of a fish, literally. So Baikal is watching. The whole Baikal is like a big eye now. And in that big eye of Baikal, the whole reality, things and no things is reflected. Rings them round, like mountains ring my drum, and now rings them round. And the ring, like a ring on your finger, rings like coming back to beginning, cycles, circles, infinity again. Rings them round, like they all contained in it, in the eye of Baikal. Girl, widow, bride.
And here the succession is important. Logically or chronologically, it might be girl, bride, wife, widow. Here we start with the girl. We continue to say widow and then bride.
Yeah, she's all at the same time, maybe.
Yes.
Why is she a widow? We can see why she's bride, because he comes to woo her, to be her man. Why is she a widow?
Because maybe she's too enormous for him to really have her as a wife.
Yeah, could be. And maybe also a little bit she's a window, apart from widow. Maybe. So she's a girl, she can be nice and small, just a girl. But she's a widow. Widow has, again, sadness, sorrow, of that deep sorrow which she holds. And bride, the deep happiness which she holds. And again, bride is bridge. Widow is like window, and bride is like bridge. Literally, bride is like bridge because she's in between girl and wife. And we end up with a bride, so we end up with a happiness, promise.
Yes.
Maybe not necessarily happiness, but a happy promise. And maybe sometimes that's all we need, a happy promise. Phew, how time passes. Has it been 3 days now?
Oh yeah.
Wow. So what you can do is just to sit back, relax, have a nice cup of water. You can drum on it. And you just read it slowly with pauses and without hurrying anywhere. And you just try to go into it and feel it, feel how it flows, or feel your part in it. Or feel Baikal listening to you as you read it. That's what we can do. So, that would be it.